Sean McDermott is fired as head coach by the Buffalo Bills following the Bills' loss to the Broncos on Saturday. We'll get to the pass interference and interception in a second. I kind of knew – here's the thing. I kind of knew he was going to get fired when after the game was over and he was complaining about the pass interference calls at the end. He was complaining about the interception, the completion of Brandon Cooks got overturned. And he said, "I'm standing up for Buffalo." I'm like, oh, dude, I can smell the desperation coming off you. I'm standing up for Buffalo. Like, he knew, like, I knew going into this game, if I didn't win, I was going to get fired. Like, I think he probably knew that, because when you say at the end, "I'm standing up for Buffalo," dude, you're not running for mayor. You're not running for governor of New York. "I'm standing up for Buffalo because nobody else will." Oh, well, we got to keep him. I got to throw myself on your mercy. I could feel the desperation oozing off of his skin when he said, "I'm standing up for Buffalo."
Yeah, no, it was a nice speech. I mean, it was really well done, and certainly plenty of stump speeches across social media and across our media brethren and everybody talking about that play, and we'll get into the particulars in a moment. But yeah, that just was I needed to get off the plane, because at the time, right, you didn't have the pool report when he met with the media right after the game, and then he got up in the air, and then he saw everything else, and then he decided he had to call back from the plane to make his impassioned plea.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing, right? For the timeline of it, it's like, no, I talked about this over here. No. Now let's really double down. I'll hold a press conference while I'm on the jet.
Yeah. Because I may get fired somewhere over Ohio or Pennsylvania, just so you know.
I mean, that bests the tarmac.
I got hired over Kansas. I got fired over Kansas. That's where I was when they decided to fire me. And honestly, for the Bills, you kind of have no choice. You've had the first 7 years of Josh Allen's career, and it's been great. You've won playoff games. You've not gotten that next step. Yes, the fear is always you don't know how good you have it, and things could always be worse, but this is a team that is looking at Super Bowls. And why, when we had the best player left in the playoffs, could we not win? Sean McDermott, as you like to say, he's an A to B coach, but someone's got to be a B to C coach. And I like that, and I agree with it, even if it's a bad year for hiring guys, right? It's not a great year if you need a head coach, but the Bills really had no choice, because you're saying, okay, here's Josh Allen, 29. He's a bigger quarterback. He's a more physical quarterback. He runs the football. He's going to have much less time left in his prime than you think. This is just how it goes. So can you really run it back and say, yeah, we're just one? No, there had to be a big change. Obviously, Josh Allen's not going anywhere. James Cook is not going anywhere. And that was the change it had. So I get it. It sucks, but I completely understand. And I don't know if the Bills had any choice but to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're through 8 years with Allen, and while it's great that they've won a playoff game each year, that's fantastic, right? The last 6 years and all of the streaks, you saw all those different metrics. It's fantastic. And there's no doubt. Good coach. Great coach? No, you would have won more frequently. Now, the argument I just want to kill once and for all, if I had one of those giant Harley Quinn mallets, I'd take it to it, there's no Mahomes and there's they're not pillow fighting in the middle of a ring.
Like there's a bye all the way. Like you have to play the Jets and the Titans and the Cardinals. Oh, it's going to be easy,
but
man.
Even still, it's like you're not fighting these guys individually where Josh Allen has to be the pugilist in the ring. It's still 11 on 11 last I saw, and they did not have the better team than a lot of the teams that were still alive. But here's the thing that really takes it over the top. In the past, you could hang your hat on occasion, you would get a big defensive effort from the Bills. Mm-hmm. In these playoffs, you did not.
Yeah.
Right? Even after the game against the Jaguars, talked about how much lift they got from Jacoby Myers, what he meant. You think that sat well with ownership and Bean? Remember, Bean was calling into radio shows to say, what? Oh,
well, and he got promoted today. He did the right thing.
But you know what I mean? Like, he was calling into radio shows to say, you guys are a bunch of idiots. Look how good we are. We don't have a receiver. And to have the coach, after they beat the Jaguars, because, boy, you could see how much different they are when they added that guy and what Jacoby Myers. Okay, so you got that. And then you go out and you give up 33 to Denver. You played well in spots, but you keep giving up big plays.
Look,
so, you couldn't even get your defensive part of things right at the end. Say nothing, and we'll get into Josh Allen in earnest. But you didn't take care of your side of the ball, and you took another early exit, and you did so in dramatic fashion.
Look, there's a lot to break this down now, to deal with the 3 big plays in Josh Allen. The 2 pass interference penalties at the end in overtime and the interception. The 2 pass interference penalties. The second one, absolutely pass interference. He pulled down on his arm. They have to throw the flag.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it was a terribly thrown lollipop
right.
ball.
It wasn't well thrown.
Out.
Right, but that happened.
Yeah,
that's a
but
penalty.
that's the way it works.
It.
It's a good strategy.
The first one, not a penalty. However, really doesn't matter because it was only a 3-yard difference because remember, you had the late hit that was going to give them 15 yards and a first down. So it was a 17-yard penalty, but it was still going to be 15 yards and a first down. So you can't really blame that because it was absolutely a late hit. That was 2 steps and a hit of Bo Nix. So, okay, so that was a roughing penalty. So that's why that first one didn't really matter. The interception, quite honestly, that was the right call, right? The rule is to complete the catch, survive the ground. He didn't. You can screen grab all you want and make it look like in this moment right here he's got it. I was disappointed they didn't look at it more. I felt like you have to look at that more. It's a play that needs a little bit more. I think it's okay to take a little bit time away and look at it a little bit more, but outside of that, they got it right. I think the optic they didn't look at it was worse than the outcome because that you can't tell me that he had control. Like as soon as he hits the ground, the ball is coming out, right? And that's the rule is that you have to survive the ground. Even the one they want to compare it to, that Devontae Adams' lack of a fumble in the game against the Bears. Okay, it's 2 different catches. It's kind of 2 different things that are going on. I really had no problem with either of those calls because the first one, he doesn't come down with the ball. Again, completing the catch and surviving the ground is part of that. When you are up in the air, getting it, coming down to the ground, that's different than catching the ball, my knee comes down, I'm in control of the football. He had to prove that he had control of it. So honestly, I didn't have a problem with it. I think it just felt like, here's the Bills and Bills Nation is melting down over the fact that we had a chance to win and we didn't, and here's this play, and then here's 2 penalties that go against us. So I get the outrage, but honestly, I don't see where that was such a big deal. I think people just took that and got out of control with it.
Well, but that's just it, right? If you're a much maligned franchise and you've had everything go against you seemingly for your entire existence, you got to 4 Super Bowls, you lost them all. You've got Wyatt, you got the Norwood miss, you just keep on going down the line. We got plenty of those, even during this McDermott era. So the fact that he called timeout, that was the only time I think we've ever had a 30-second timeout be a 30-second timeout.
Yeah.
There was no replay. We get more coverage and timeouts for a replay in the second quarter of a game in week 2 than what we got there, which was embarrassing for the league. When you've got a number of questions about how well or poorly games are being officiated, look, Cignetti in this game. That's 3 hits on my quarterback that they didn't call, right? If he's doing it in the middle of a game, and I don't think it was gamesmanship, I think he was actually right about it. But, if we're going into all these big games and there's so mmany instances of what do we really got, and then you go to the rules analyst, and he might as well be eating a cheesesteak because he's offering nothing in terms of analysis. I don't know. Yeah, what are you going to do? In this case, definitively, I don't know. Is he down by contact? When does that come into play either? Right? Before the ball pops out. The fact that he laid on the ground and couldn't get up to sell his case, whether he was not, had the wind knocked out of him or just knew he got, it was a bad look. You didn't help your team to sell that call. But the fact that McDermott actually calls the timeout and they're more or less like, nope, get on the ball, let's go.
Yeah.
It's just a bad look for it's bad for the league.
Yeah.
Again, when you've got a lot of questions and a lot of people with tinfoil hats on across the league of how well or poorly things are executed. Meanwhile, I got LeBron James every 4 seconds trying to sell me about betting something. So it's just not a good look for the league in that instance to go that quickly to back to play.
Had they gone through it, would it have been a little bit better? Yeah, you're still going to have a large group that are going to say, "Oh, they got screwed," because everybody wants to look for something bad. But at least they would have looked at it.
But you got no explanation.
It down a little bit. Yeah.
And then Sterator was a clown in the booth.
Yeah,
he had himself a bad day.
Hey,
and then he put up a poll question, so he at least got that up.
You can have bad days everywhere. On the field, official on television. You can have bad days.
They're calling on you 3 or 4 times in a game. Yeah. Come on.
So really, I get the Bills are upset, but look, there was nothing. The calls were called right, and it didn't affect the game. They just lost.
And on the larger scale, the inches were all around.